And is it crazy to wish that Sony might have had a little more foresight and maybe held off on releasing the console until they could have met demand?
No, I feel like this is one of those examples of the marketing department saying, it's going to be out on this date, and the developers in the back going,
Yeah.
we're not ready yet. And them just not communicating, and they're like, no, we have to have it out by the holidays, and this is the situation that we get.
I think we're really going to better understand this launch in a couple of days, because I'm waiting to hear if there are problems. We're hearing reports of problems with the HDMI cables and Panasonic high-def cables.
Anecdotal at this point.
Yes, it is anecdotal, but
yes, we've heard
in a couple of days we'll get to know if this is happening, how pervasive it is, and when you're selling a $600 piece of technical equipment, the expectation is it better work, and that's going to really hurt people that may have tried now, and if they're going to try later on.
Let's assume that there's maybe 3 or 4 people out there that actually got a unit. They take it out, they hook it up, it actually works. They didn't put it on eBay, believe it or not. What games do they have to play? I mean, is there any software really worth going for right now?
If you have one, you better get Resistance. After that,
what about Mobile Suit Gundam? Isn't that supposed to be next-gen awesomeness?
Remember when that came out at E3? Everyone was like, that's awesome! And the mech is like clamoring through the city, and everyone's like, it's gonna happen, we're gonna have a good mech game.
Then we saw it at TGS, and like, oh my god, they're putting us on with that terrible footage. Right? You funny Namco Bandai guys, oh my god, you told the truth.
Right.
There's frame rate problems in this game, even though it looks like some caca I'd find on my PS3.
Yeah, I mean, it's like their idea of like an outdoor setting is canyon wall. I mean, really, the Roadrunner in Coyote wouldn't go there to have fun. It's cynical and almost disgusting that a game like this would be launched as some kind of like next gen representative.
All right. Well, Morgan said that they made up for it with Untold Legends: Dark Kingdom. Isn't that really the? Oh wow! She just shot laser beams at me for saying that. She said it was worth picking up.
Did you play it on the PSP?
I did play it on the PSP. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the same.
No, I mean,
there's like fewer characters that you get to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really
same old button masher, same old repetitive.
It's the button masher. Now, obviously, the catch of this is supposed to be that this is from Sony Online Entertainment,
right? And
you can get online. Now, it's funny. It's kind of just like the single player. I mean, it really. It's pretty graphics, but the gameplay, what people need to realize is that next gen can't just be a polish on something.
Sure.
You have to be allowed to play a game in a way that you haven't played it before. More characters, various environments that you could have different branching paths. I mean, even that's the old gem, but that's not even like really enough.
You swing your sword or your hammer, whatever you happen to have, and it doesn't feel like you're making contact with anything, and that's like a PS2 lesson.
But doesn't the controller just rumble right out of your hands? Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna see, it's ironic because it's a fit. All right, we're going to let that go. Later on in today's show, though, we're going to take a look at Resistance Fall of Man.
Yes, now that's something to be very excited
about. It's a PlayStation 3 game that Adam is actually excited about. But first, we've been following the PS3 from the very beginning, and since the first announcement at E3, it's sort of been a roller coaster ride, I think, for everybody.
Well, no, we have been stalking this console since day one, and now that it's launched, it can finally lift that restraining order, and we're going to take a look at X-Play's road to the PS3.
PlayStation 3.
Now that the release date for the PlayStation 3 is finally here, gamers around the world have something to exhale about. At long last, the final version of the PS3 will be set and flying off shelves. Let's take a look back at the mileage traveled to launch, the beautiful views and costly tolls experienced on the road to the PS3. It's E3 2005, and Kaz Hirai hits the stage like a corporate rock star. Stepping up to the mic, he delivers the hit, and the crowd goes wild. Like a truck too late to dodge, the promise of Sony's next-generation console hit our eyes and ears. It sounded out of this world, going so far as renaming the central processing unit as something more like a hive that content would swarm out of. Even the controller looked like a mental challenge. And when would this high-res symbol of synergy be out? Spring 2006. If you needed any evidence of this console's strength, you only had to see Next Gen Killzone, E3 2005. This, they said, is what you could expect from Next Gen gaming. There was also MotorStorm. Mud never looked this good under skies that looked as complex as if a Flemish pastoralist had painted it himself. With the approach of E3 2006, all eyes were on Sony. The emphasis this year seemed to focus on the PS3's muscularity as an entertainment hub for all your digital amusements. The PS3 will be a global pipe, pumping games, internet, films, and MP3s into our homes like a storm drain after a hurricane. But where were the games? They looked different. Gundam looked a little less polished. And where was the next-gen Killzone? And was striking this crab on a special spot and causing massive damage indicative of next-gen gaming? Thankfully, a new, more aesthetically conservative motion-capable controller was unveiled to replace the boomerang. And then there was the price, $599, with the less expensive version not including an HDMI output for true high resolution. There was cause for concern. A new release date is announced, fall 2006.
We're set to launch the PlayStation 3 this November.
Once again, all eyes were on Sony. The Tokyo Game Show 06 thankfully brought better playable versions, an ambitious display, and a new attitude focused on launch. Lair played well. The graphics and game features delivered on some of the promised grandeur. The $500 version would come with an HDMI port after all.
PlayStation 3.
Maybe things weren't so bad. Demand would still be high, and initial low release numbers will cause some Best Buys to be torched. But at least the road to the PS3 is finally over.
Blow it up.
That blowed up nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. Of course, Adam and Morgan are going to be back later in the show, and we will demo Resistance Fall of Man, some multiplayer action live. We're going to show you how it all works. And following tonight's PS3 Day 1 special, there's going to be a brand new episode of X-Play. That's your show, right?
Yeah, that's
right. That's what it's called.
You'll have the first ever reviews of all the PlayStation 3 titles.
Introducing the Daily Nut. It's a daily podcast highlighting the best of the internet every day. Download it now at g4tv.com.